Well, I'm sure everyone will agree with me if I tell you that this year's budget speech was focused more on the new India, wherein our finance minister talked about so many different themes, including infrastructure. She talked about affordable housing. She talked about defense. She talked about innovation, where drones as a service was also discussed, and many more, including the digitization theme as well. But out of all these themes that I told you right now, and a few more themes, which are my top three stocks based on the budget? So, if you want to know that, just check out the full video. Hey folks, CA Rachana Ranade here, and I welcome you all to an amazing video which is about top 3 fundamentally strong stocks based on budget 2022. So you have two options, right? So possibility number 1, if you believe that whatever themes were discussed, I discussed those during the pre-bumper as well. So if you want to invest in a specific theme rather than investing in few stocks from different themes, then possibility 1, we have a ready-made budget 2022 multiple small cases which they have already made it readily available for you. So if you believe that electric mobility is the one which I believe in the most, or if you believe green energy is the theme that I should invest in, or whatever, it could be India opportunity, it could be transport India, infra tracker, affordable housing, innovation, high quality, right price, whatever you feel that I have highest conviction in one out of these themes, you can invest in either of the themes. Link is there in the description box. Or if you believe that Rachana has chosen these 3 top stocks and I would want to invest in that small case, then the link of that small case is also there in the description box. But without watching the video, if you go and invest in that stock, then sharp okay, maybe whatever, right? So first, educate yourself, get the maximum understanding about all these stocks, and then take an informed decision and then invest in these small cases. Let me remind you all one more time that all these creative people are spammers. That's how my account looks like. Also remember, I never give my mobile number in any chat. I neither have an advisory nor do I give any stock tips. Alright, so my first pick is based on the infra theme because our government has focused a lot on something known as PM Gati Shakti. Now, when the government discussed about this Gati Shakti Yojana or whatever, Gati Shakti master plan, I can say, FM very clearly mentioned that it's not only the center who is going to look into the implementation of this, but it's going to be the center plus the states who are going to focus on the implementation of this master plan, wherein they said that will encompass 7 engines for economic transformation, seamless multimodal connectivity, and logistics efficiency. Now, under this PM Gati Shakti Master Plan for Expressways, which is formulated in 2022-23, they have planned that national highway network will be expanded by 25,000 kilometers in the financial year 2022-23. Now, if this is the master plan, then we need a company who has a major expertise in construction of roads. And which is that company? The company is KNR Constructions. So if I were to talk about this company in a little bit more detail, KNR Constructions is a multi-domain infrastructure project development company. So the word that I'm using is multi-domain infrastructure projects. Means what? Is it only into roads? No. What all does it have expertise in? They have done highway projects, they have done irrigation projects, they have done urban water infrastructure management, river bridges, urban development as well. So if they have all these as their capabilities, that is the reason why they call themselves as what? A multi-domain infrastructure project. And they also say that we are an EPC company. Now, what do we mean by EPC? EPC is basically more about engineering, procurement, and construction. Just in case you have not understood this EPC, I'll give you a simple example. Assume we have this big river, okay, and the problem is that because of this river, people from this side of the river cannot commute to that side of the river, okay. You can see all the vehicles are stuck here. So the government says that we'll build a nice bridge over this. But wait, government said and 1 second mein ban gaya kya? No, first what is required? Engineering is required. So a lot of engineers will first have a nice drawing about this bridge. Okay, this is on softwares that okay, this is how the bridge will look like. This is engineering. Then second step is what? Procurement. What will they have to procure? They'll have to procure bricks, maybe cement, steel, and few more other materials, right? Then all these will be taken into the construction of the bridge, right? And finally, C, which is construction is completed, then Udghatan ceremony, and then the vehicles will start passing on this bridge, right? So this is how I term EPC. I hope you have understood what is EPC. Engineering, then procurement, and then construction. This is what the company does, right? Moving ahead, this company was incorporated in 1995 by professionals who have an experience in the infrastructure space. In 1997, the partnership firm was acquired by the company, and this company, which was started by Shri K. Narasimha Reddy, the same person was also the promoter of KNRCL, which is nothing but the company that we are discussing right now. And in fact, this company had started, when it was originally a partnership firm, they had started engaging in this business of undertaking civil and mechanical contracts since what? Since 1979. This is the long history of the company, right? If I were to talk about the project execution capabilities of this company, an amazing point. You can see there are two graphs, right? The gray graph is about scheduled completion days, and orange graph is about what? Actual completion. Now, generally, if you see all these huge projects, be it bridges, roads, generally all these companies who are building all these infrastructure related projects, there is a lot of delay. And if there is delay, then the company has to pay a penalty, because of which their profitability gets hampered, right? But for this company, if you see, always, whatever entire chart you can see, the scheduled completion is higher as compared to the actual completion, right? In just one or two scenarios, it's almost the same. But otherwise, in simple words, they have a very great track record of completing the schedule well ahead of the scheduled time, right? Even if you have a look at their order book breakup, they have a fantastic order book, almost 1,16,789 million rupees. And in that also you can see that green part which talks about the state government has a huge chunk. Now, even if you go with the segment wise split, remember I talked about roads being their specialty, right? So 47% you can see roads in the blue pie. Even in the grayish part you can see roads, others. Irrigation is falling almost 26%. But if you talk about the region wise split, it's almost 100% concentration in South India, right? All in all, I hope you have understood a lot about the company. Moving ahead with the financials, you can see that the revenue growth has been super consistent. Even if I go to the OPM, operating profit margin, you can see that OPM has a good amount of expansion. EPS growth has been continuous. Even if you check out the ROE for the last 10 years, it is pretty consistent. If I were to move to the balance sheet of the company, you can see that the debt to equity in 2010 was almost 0.48, but in March 21, it has come down to 0.39. If I were to move ahead with cash flow from operations, you can see that it has been positive throughout, but just in March 21, you can see that there is a negative operating cash flow of 76 crores. I think reason might be Corona. Okay. One more reason, if you have a look at this chart now, you can see that blue line which says which shows us that net working capital has been continuously increasing. Debtors were increasing, creditors were increasing, because of which maybe there was a pressure on the operating cash flows, right? Moving ahead with the last point, which is technical analysis for this, you can very clearly see, I'm on in.trading view now. You can very clearly see that on a weekly chart, I am focusing on August 21 to February 2022, that time frame. And you can see that there's a very nice rounding bottom formation which has happened. And if you see that line of 326, that's a very strong line which is currently acting as a resistance, but then it can act as a very strong support. So if this is broken with strong volume, and if the stock is able to sustain above that, then I believe it can have that as a nice base and it can move higher. Additional good points are that currently the company also has a lower PE, lower PB as compared to the industry average. I hope with a huge discussion about this company, you have gotten this conviction as to why this is my topic from the infra space. Well, moving ahead with our second stock, which is based on the Digital India theme. If you have very carefully heard the speech that our FM gave in the budget 2022, she very clearly gave focus on the artificial intelligence part. She said that if our youth is able to upskill and reskill itself, then this area of the digital economy can have a very nice boost to our new and modern India. And not only this sector as a unit will grow, but if we have a lot of modernization, digitization, then this sector has a capacity to boost, to give a push to other sectors, to other industries as well, right? So with this base points in our mind, artificial intelligence, modernizing the country and all that, the next talk that I've chosen is Affle India. So Affle India, if I were to talk about this company, it's a consumer behavioral led contextual advertising technology company. But what do we mean by this? Okay, I'll just quickly try and break this up for you. I'll give you an example for that first. Okay, so assume that I am a person who loves technology. Okay, so whenever new mobile comes up in the market, this company has not given me any charges for advertising their mobile phone. But anyways, I love to search for different phones, what are their features and all that. So you can imagine, whenever I surf any different site, what pops up in the advertising is this mobile, that mobile. Now again I read the same sentence. What is Affle India? Affle India is a consumer behavioral analysis. What was my consumer behavioral analysis? That she's a girl who keeps on watching out for technology related products. Okay, and based on my behavioral analysis, what is Affle India going to do? They are going to do a contextual advertising. What is the context here? Push all the technology related advertisement to Rachna. Okay, so that contextual advertising company based on consumer analysis is what? Affle. I hope you have understood the base business model of Affle, right? So this company operates in a high growth digital advertising industry, and they basically work on which model? CPCU model. What is CPCU? Cost per converted user. So in simple words, Affle doesn't charge their customers based on impressions. Okay, they charge the customers based on customers converted or the users converted. So this gives a higher ROI, return on investment, to whom? To the consumers or to the entities, I can say, who are advertising through the Affle platform, right? Currently they have partnered, Affle has partnered with OTT, startups, e-commerce, advertising agencies. In fact, these days I've heard that Affle is also tying up with some influencers as well, right? They have their operations across India as well as Indonesia, which is one of their largest markets, and Affle is one of the pure play ad tech players in the country. In fact, they also have a very strong data management platform, and they have very nice tools, something like an MFAS, which is an anti-fraud detection tool, right? Have they worked with other big companies? The answer is yes. Just to give you one or two quick examples, if you check out this one, they have worked with Levi's, okay, wherein Levi's had certain specific target. They had an objective to attract more and more customers to one of the new outlets that had opened up, which Levi's had opened up. So what results they saw after they doing an advertisement with Affle? 46% incremental visits to the Levi's store. Okay, so in spite of being a digitally advertising company, still they were able to drive customers to their physical store as well. 2.83x uplift for an ad exposed user, and significant growth attributed visits or conversions to physical store. I'll give you one quick additional example, which is about Swiggy. So Swiggy basically wanted that they have high acquisition new users for their platform, and in that, if you see the results that the Affle India gave through their advertisement, 177% increase in shopping conversions from new users, 3.2x scale in post install orders, and also greater ROI realization by driving higher conversions. So I can go about this company for another easily 15-20 minutes. In fact, I have done a video for almost 45 minutes to 1 hour. For whom? For our pro investor members. And in that, I talked about 2 case studies. In the Pro Investor special video on Affle India, I have discussed more than 10 case studies. I have discussed about what is CPC, cost per click model. I have discussed what is CPM, cost per meal model. I have discussed about a lot of acquisitions that this company has done. I have discussed about who are their top clientele. In fact, I have also talked about what are the future plans of Affle India as well. And when we discussed this talk, I guess it was somewhere around September, to be precise, 13th September, I discussed this stock with my pro investor members. At that time, the stock price was somewhere around 940. Current market price as I shoot the video is around 1,263, and the high price that this stock saw was 1,512. So if you want to know such amazing, fundamentally strong stocks, then please consider hitting that join button and going ahead with our pro investor memberships. Moving on to the last part for the stocks, which is about financials. If you see here on screener, you can see that there has been a consistent revenue growth, very good growth in the book value as well. OPM, which is the operating profit margin, is also pretty consistent. Net profit is compounding at a great rate. In fact, one more point is CPCU, that is cost per converted user, right now is highest, that is at 50. Okay. Now, if you move ahead with the balance sheet, you can see in fixed assets, intangible assets growth is pretty high. That is also one more point. If you go to cash flow from investing activities, here you can see that because of the brownfield expansions, that is nothing but acquiring existing companies, you can see that CFI, you can see that they are investing in more and more other companies as well. In fact, their past acquisitions have also given good returns, and currently company says that Affle 2.0 is in focus right now. If I go ahead with CFO, that is also positive, that is increasing. ROE, ROC numbers very good, they are above 35%. And finally, moving ahead with technical. So here I am on in.trading view right now. If you go ahead with the weekly chart, you can see that a very nice higher high and higher low formation has been seen. So all in all, I can say that yes, this stock is also right now in an uptrend. One small, I can't say negative, but a word of caution, PE, PB, both ratios seem to be a bit expensive. So all in all, I hope you have understood what is Affle all about, what are the key points about this company, their financials, fundamentals, technicals, everything wrapped up in one go. And the third stock that we have chosen is based on the Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme. Atmanirbhar in specifically defense and space theme, of course not restricted only to this theme. Why is this theme very important right now? Our government is saying that we are wanting to reduce imports and we are wanting to indigenously manufacture more and more products which can serve the defense and space sector. In fact, the government also mentioned that 68% of the capital procurement budget will be earmarked for the domestic industry in 2022-23, which will be up from 58%, which was there in 21-22. In fact, the government also gave a focus, stressed on this point, that defense R&D will now be opened up not only to the industry but also to academia, to startups, and now they will be working with DRDO through some sort of SPV model, right? So with all these things in our mind, which company have I chosen? The company is MTAR or MATAR or whatever you call that. But to give you a brief about the company, MTAR is a developer and manufacturer of a wide range of vital precision engineering components. In simple words, when I use the word precision components, means what? The margin of error is very less, okay? And because it demands high and high specialization while manufacturing components, I can say that gives them a hand and upper edge as the entry barrier in this area becomes pretty high, right? In fact, I'm sure everyone can recall the Chandrayaan 2 mission, wherein this company played an integral role in GSLV Mark 3 engine, which was used for Chandrayaan 2 mission. And those scenes where K. Sivan was hugging our Prime Minister and he had tears in his eyes because because of a very small minute margin of error, maybe that mission could not be termed as 100% success. I hope with that as an example gives you a true thought process behind what do we mean by the term precision engineering components. And this is the company which makes precision engineering components. But which industries does it serve? Is it only space and defense? Answer is no. Just have a look at this. Space and defense is one area wherein they serve clients like ISRO and DRDO. They also serve industries like nuclear, where their main customer is NPCIL, and also clean energy, which is again one important customer is Bloom Energy. Now if I go back to nuclear industry, have a look at all these images. Okay, all these components are again manufactured by whom? By MTAR. By the way, if you want to know more and more in detail about all these products and deep down into the company, then I have already made a separate live stream about MTAR Tech, and you can surely have a look at this entire almost 45 minutes video so that you get better and deeper understanding about the company, right? Second, all these products are offered in which industry? In the space and defense industry. Those ball screws, or it could be the GSLV, the electro pneumatic modules, and all whatnot. Okay, all these are the products which are offered by MTAR. Now, if I go ahead with a few interesting points about the company is invested in development of roller screws. Now, these roller screws are very important. Why? Because they are going to act as a very big import substitute. In fact, if this development is successful, then according to the company and according to a CRISIL report, they state that this company will be the first manufacturer of roller screws in India. And by the way, this product has a lot of application not only in the nuclear space but also in the space and defense sector as well. The company also played an integral part while the development of the PSLV C-25 engine, which was launched during the MOM, which is the Mars Orbiter mission, as a part of the entire Mangalyaan mission, of course supplied to ISRO by this company. One different point about the company, but a very interesting one, is that the company has a very low attrition rate, just 6% in last 3 years. And I believe that this is a classic case where on an average the employee tenure in the company is almost 15 years. I mean, this is a big input for all those who are into the IT industry and who switch companies in every 1 year or 2 years. So have a look at this, okay? This gives an added advantage to the company because, again, going back, they're into precision, high precision. If all these experienced people are there with the company, can't I say that they'll be giving more and more better products to their customers? Answer is again yes. Finally, moving ahead with the financials part, I'm going to again screener, and here you can see a very consistent revenue growth. The OPM has also been seeing a very consistent growth. Net profit is compounding pretty nicely. You can also see that their book value growth is also pretty good. Going ahead with the balance sheet, you can see that there's a continuous fixed assets growth in the company. Even borrowings have been seen in the books, but again at comfortable levels. Only one point which I'm a little bit skeptical about is the CFO. That is not really very encouraging. In fact, even if you see the cash conversion cycle, okay, cash conversion cycle means once I pay for my raw material cost, till the entire manufacturing process is over, till the product is sold, and again you get back cash for that. That's a cash conversion cycle. That is also at a record high level right now. So these 2 points I am a bit skeptical about. But again, if I go about overall fundamentals, overall financials, fair enough, right? Going ahead with Indo-Trading View now, based on the technical analysis, I've chosen the weekly chart, and here you can see that again the chart is absolutely in a higher high and higher low formation, giving us an outlook about the overall uptrend in the weekly chart, right? I think all in all you have gotten a fair enough idea about the company, the products, and why I've chosen this stock based on our theme about Atmanirbhar Bharat. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video about top 3 stocks based on budget 2022. Don't forget to check out the links in the description box for the relevant small cases. And if you want to know more about budget 2022, my view, you can click here. And if you want to check budget 2022 but view of industry experts, you can click here. Till then, take care, Jai Hind, and bye-bye.